You know, how you doing, Trisha here? Last Friday I was on to talk about a little bit about, parents. And my son came to me and asked me certain questions, and I realized, and some people told me, but Trisha, you answer the question. So here I am today, to kind of get straight to the point and answer the question. He was asking me, how do you know if a girl likes you, And I have been reflecting, and I continue to reflect on that question this week. But one of the things that we talk about, let's jump right into it. One of the things I said to him last week was, what makes you think that she likes you? And he said, well, every time I look her way, she was looking at me. Well, so I said, well, if you think that she looking at you, then you looking at her. So if you're looking, if you're looking at her and every time you look at her, she's looking at you, well, it means you're looking at each other. It could be that, she find that you're cute. He said, oh gosh, mommy, I want some concrete ways. I said, it's important that you be observant. One of the things to know if someone is interested in you is being observant. Did you have a conversation with her? I asked him. He said, yes. I said, well, what did you all talk about, what does she like? What does she like to do? What does she like to? What are some of the things that interest her? What are some places that she like to go? Did you have those kinds of things with her as you seek to, kind of build up a friendship? And I remember even as I was asking him that, I remember thinking that, I was feeling kind of scared inside because, this is my little son. And I know some people say mothers do not know how to let go their sons. And maybe that might be true for some people. But it starts in the little ways by listening to them. So, I affirmed him that, that he was able to observe. And the more observant you are of people, one, and of your surroundings, it helps you to get in touch with that. So it's not just about focusing only on the girl, but it's about, life. Life is about, relationship with other people as well as with yourself, with God, and with nature. So we talk a little bit about that. Of course, I was just feeling, oh my God, I feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm not sure why, because, I've been doing a lot of reading throughout their lives, trying to deal with them at an age appropriate, in age appropriate ways. But, I was still feeling uncomfortable in my skin. Then we started to talk about, I said, I don't want to give out too much details about the situation because, I don't know if the girl might be looking on as well, But we also started to talk about, respecting her. I said, so in my mind, where would he have met this girl, And then I remembered where they would have met. So I started to ask him, did you offer her something to drink or so on and so on. And he said, Mommy, you need to do all of that? I said, yes, if you want to get to know somebody, you're in their presence, as a young man, you could ask her, would you like, I'm going to get something to drink. Even if it's a bottle of water, you could ask her, would you like something to drink too? That's another way of being a gentleman, of showing respect, of showing care for the other. So liking a girl is not just what you feel in your body. So we started to talk about that too. I said, you may be experiencing different things happening in your body. And he started to smile like, Mommy, don't go there, I said, yes, you might be feeling, that your penis, yes, I'm saying it, penis, or your heart may be fluttering. He said, well, Mommy, do we have to talk about that? I say, yes, because, you're not just a physical person or emotional person, you're a whole person. So we have to talk about what's happening in your body, even as you experience that. So I started to talk about that, and decided to talk about you might find yourself thinking a lot about her a lot, but even as you think about her, you have to try to balance that too. You can't let her take over your mind. You have to find other ways to cope with the rush of emotions that you might be feeling as you continue to think about her and talk, as she comes to your mind. as I said, my own feelings was one of, I'm unsure. I remember when I was 15, and then I remember I liked somebody at 15. And I said, wow, I said, you may be thinking, she said, wow, yes, we like people all the time. And sometimes, as our children come to us and tell us that they like somebody, they're not telling us they're going to marry the person at 15. Okay, child marriage is against the law in Trinidad, right? But he wanted to find out about how do you really engage as a whole person, physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, those emotions, those desires that he was having. God gave us those emotions and desires, and I remember sharing that with him. And I know sometimes my own emotions and desires could get the better of me. And feeling like, oh my, do I know what to say, when to say, how to say it? But I had to keep reminding myself that this is not a one-time conversation. This is something that we can have fun with, that we can speak truth with, that, I went up and started to read a little more. And if you, again, would like to join me in this conversation about, talking about some difficult conversations with your children, with our children, please, we really want to hear from you. Now, I see Lauren is asking, how do you engage someone when you catch feelings? Oh, my. Well, first, eye contact, or maybe no eye contact. Not making eye contact because it could, stir up more feelings. But we could start to talk about what do you say catch feelings? What you really mean? Because that's like a big term. When you say catch feelings, what does you really mean by catching feelings? You like her, you don't like her, you like him, you don't like him. Lauren, tell me, what does you really mean? I see some other people have joined on as well. Edos and Generation S and so on. So it's really entering into, if you catch feelings, you like the person, nothing wrong, I like it. Admiring God's beauty. I remember when I was younger, I used to say, oh gosh, God beautiful, his creatures, his creation is beautiful. Oh, I see Lauren want to be in the live, so Lauren, I better bring in. Yes, Lauren Jamada Branca. So let's hear what Lauren is trying to say here to me now this morning.
So, me is
So tell me about catch feelings now.
okay. So the young people say now. I mean, I don't have any kids of my own, but I can imagine, like, if I had a son or a daughter, and they come into me and say, "Mommy, I caught some feelings." Now, what I interpret of catching feelings is
caught feelings.
Yeah, like it's so funny. I'm on this live, and some of my people from my
So what is catch feelings?
So when you catch feelings, it's almost like you have feelings for someone. Like you find them attractive. You find them, when you think about them or you interact with them, like you get butterflies. Because I remember catching feelings for friends, like from the moment I went out with them, I caught feelings. It was terrible, but I got butterflies whenever I was around him. When he would touch my hand, I would feel. I know.
So you reach a touch, you reach a touch my hand, right?
Like he would touch my hand and say, "Hi, how are you?" And then I realized I was in my feelings with friends. So I'm thinking to myself, if I do have kids and they come and they tell me, Mom, I catching feelings, it would be like, they have this attraction to somebody else, and I would not know how to deal with that. Like I'd be like, "No, you're too young. No kids."
But I think that's that's a really good point, because I think I was feeling that way too. No, you're too young. You shouldn't be attracted. But we are attracted to so many things, so many people, so many, in different ways. The attraction is not just to go to bed. The attraction is you have a nice face. You have a nice body. Your body is telling me something about you. So we don't have to, we can, how I would engage that, if you ask, is, what do you like about her? What do you like? Does she have a nice face? What is about her personality you like? Because it's not just the physical features, but what about her personality? Have you spoken to her? Do you know what she likes or she doesn't like? Do you know where she lives? Do you know what school she goes to? And how old is she? That'd be a big question for me.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like, if when I do, with my with my teenage children, I mean, it's nice to say that I would ask those questions, but I have to admit I would need to process that, because you just never really know what they would come with and how well you will respond to it, because you get very protective of your children, and the first thing you're thinking to yourself is no. So that's why I asked the question: how do you engage someone when it is, like, how do you engage someone when you're catching feelings? So that was my
Well,
take.
I have come to realize that sometimes you don't have to have all the right answers. Because I know I messed up big time. I said the wrong thing. I start to catch my own feelings about where you telling me about girls and all that kind of thing, not realizing that's normal, natural, and going back to my own time when I was 15 years and liking a boy. So as a parent, I know sometimes sometimes I say the wrong things. And I know this week I said some rare, out of time and things. Because I didn't understand and I was afraid. Many times when I'm afraid to respond, or I say the wrong things. But what is the wrong thing? If I can learn, okay, Trisha, you could have handled that better. You could have give it a little bit more thought. And try to use a more age appropriate way of responding. You could read up something about it and that kind of thing. I think that is the journey of parenting. It's not about getting it right all the time, because
Yeah.
our parents, my mother, my father, didn't get it right. But I remember my grandmother,
Yeah.
just telling me about certain things, and that really helped me. And I
Yeah.
think that's the journey I want to make on this page, that it's not about getting it right. It's about
Yeah.
establishing the relationship. That
Right.
is what matters. That is what matters to me. I see somebody saying
Yeah.
protective with good reason. Sometimes you can catch feelings for someone that isn't well. That isn't well. Yes, Kadeen. Yes. That isn't well for you. But I think the catching feelings is good in itself. It's what
Mm-hmm.
you do after with those feelings
With
that
those
matter, both for children and for
adults.
adults. And
Yes.
adults, because you have to be careful what you do with those, what you do after you've experienced those feelings. You wanted to say something, Lauren. You're laughing like you're remembering your days.
No, yes, I see some of my friends coming on, and I'm very happy to see some of the friends that I see coming on, because we are all young adults, and although we're talking about children and our children here, I think it's
Uh-huh.
important for us to also be able to identify with adults as well, because sometimes, but I don't want to stray away from your thing. Thanks for having me on your
Thank
live.
you for coming on. Thank you. I really appreciate your presence. See you. Thanks again, Lauren.
You're
So,
welcome.
parents, that's what it's about. It's about sharing of experience. It's about laughing, because sometimes we can get too serious when these issues come up. But it's about, connecting with each other and supporting. So if you have any questions or comments, or you want to join the live next week as we continue the conversation about, you know, children and issues around love and sex and body, I encourage you to send me a message, share this live, and we continue with the journey. See you next week. Remember, we're here to support you. Love you. Bye bye.